What's up, guys? Today we're taking a look at this knife. This is a zero tolerance model, an old discontinued one. It's a Hinderer design. This is the elusive and pretty hard to find zero tolerance 0392. This is a factory custom series model from ZT that they did a while back. And a while back, I mean like before 2020, 2015 kind of. Older. They didn't make very many of these that I'm aware of. It's a Hinderer design. It's basically the Hinderer clips. It was a Hinderer collaboration between Rick Hinderer and Zero Tolerance Knives. And it's basically the Hinderer clips, but branded ZT with everything built by ZT. I believe the hardware is even interchangeable with the Hinderer clips as well, which is kind of interesting. But this is pretty cool. Here you go. You see it says on the blade 0392. Hinderer design, Yokai USA, and this one featured CTS 204P steel, which is very similar to M390 and 20CV, I believe. This is serial number 161, and this knife did come with this very fancy box here. I'll show you real quick. This very fancy limited edition box. Here you can see there, and it also came with a there you go. A certificate of authenticity. Can't talk. Seal of authenticity. 161 is genuine and authentic. Pretty cool. You can read it if you want there. This particular one had the hardware was anodized by the previous owner. So I'm not the original owner. I traded for this. I bought this from a guy on Facebook. But I'm not the original owner. The original owner, I believe, did this anodizing on this hardware, which is kind of interesting. It used to be blue. I believe he did this bronze yellow kind of deal, which is kind of cool. One thing that surprised me when I got this knife in hand is it's not as big as I thought it would be. It's kind of a little bit smaller than I imagined. I believe it's a 3.5-inch blade. It's very comfy. I will say that it's very comfortable. I haven't handled many Hinderer designs, and this is the only Hinderer ZT I've really handled, but it's very comfortable in the hand. It's a stiff detent, very strong detent, and you can lock bar pressure yourself really easily with this. When you're trying to flip it out, you can easily if you put your finger here on the lock bar, you can easily lock yourself in so it won't flip. So you gotta make sure your finger's off that lock bar, and then it'll fire out. It's pretty interesting. It's got these scallops for your fingers, two very particular spots to put your fingers there. It's kind of like you got to put them there because that's where they're supposed to go. And it does fit. It fits my hand pretty well. It's very comfortable. Some jimping up here, pretty meaningful jimping. It grabs your thumb pretty well. Only a couple jimps though. They could have done more, but it's not bad. You put your thumb back here or all the way up here. It's pretty comfortable. Definitely fills the hand. Pretty well. It's a little bit shorter than I imagined. It just you get all 4 fingers on there, but then there's not much hanging off the back. You can see there. So definitely not as large as I thought it would be. I think it's a beautiful knife. I think it looks really good. Definitely a good, straightforward looking knife. I like the design overall. It's very nice. Flipping, it's very solid feeling. This is full tie handles, no milling, no milled out handle scales at all. So this isn't milled out for weight reduction at all. It has a lock bar insert with an over travel stop here. And it has completely and totally solid lockup. No movement at all. These are bank vault lockup. Absolutely amazing on these. And it has bearings, so it's very smooth. This particular one has KPL in it, and it's just very smooth. Not drop shut, but very light shake shut action. So very nicely done. It's got a flathead pivot, which is kind of interesting as well. Detent feels good. Very nice and clicky. I'd say it's a very clicky detent. Pretty snappy. Feels good. It's got this nice swedge up at the tip, but still good strength behind the edge. It's very thick, just like zero tolerance knives used to be. This is one of the older ZTs that had that really big, burly feel that everybody misses now. But it feels really good. Definitely a really nice knife. This is overbuilt ZT at its best right here. This is really just zero tolerance, showing off their capabilities, their machining quality, everything. Flipping action, everything was really good on this. It's got these external stops for the blade that do contact up here, as well as a back stop pin as well. So it's like a bunch of points of contact there, as well as the frame lock. This is a very solid knife, very strong, very smooth. You can use these as thumb studs, but they're not meant to, and they kind of stab your finger. They're not designed to be flipped with the the blade stops here. They're not supposed to be used as thumb studs, but you can use them as thumb studs. I've never really tried reverse flicking this. You can't really, because your hand gets on that lock bar pretty easily. So you can use the left hand to do it. Definitely very Hinderer-y. Looks very Hinderer design. You can definitely tell it's a Hinderer design. At least I can. It's got his design influence in this all over. It's one of his. It's basically the Eclipse. I mean, if you've ever seen a Hinderer Eclipse, this is basically the same thing, just with this nice kind of drop point blade shape. Kind of cool. So let's do some size comparisons up against some other knives. Actually, first of all, I want to check centering. It is absolutely completely centered. So quality here really is very good. Now I'll do some size comparisons up against two of my favorite zero tolerance knives, the ZT-0308. Sorry, bump the camera here. And sorry, 0223. ZT-0223 and the ZT-0308. Up against those two knives. You can see here it's not quite as long as either of them. It's a little bit shorter than both of those knives, but definitely still full size. Let's compare it up against the PM2. And let's also compare it to, do I have my Penguin? No, I don't. I have my Bug Out, though. I'll compare it to a benchmade Bug Out. You can see there. Definitely full-size knife. You get just about 3.5 inches of cutting edge. 3.5 inches of blade, anyway. So, definitely full-size knife. We can compare it to some other old-school ZT knives, like the 0302. It's a Ken Onion design, as well as the 0200, two Ken Onion designs from Zero Tolerance as well. We can also compare it to even some other ones. The Les George 0920. Love the 0920. Awesome knife. So you can see it's a little bit smaller than, I mean, it's not as large as this one, like width-wise and everything, but it's a little bit, you know, smaller than all these older ZT knives as well. It was around the same time period when ZT was making all these awesome models, but it's a little bit smaller than I imagined it would be. And maybe that's just because I've never really handled a whole bunch of Hinderer knives or anything, or the Eclipse or whatnot, but it's just a little bit smaller than I imagined it would be. Good cutting edge. Doesn't drop down to a super thin cutting edge because you don't have a ton of distance here to get thin, but not too bad. Definitely came sharp out of the box. I haven't really touched up the edge just because it's a factory custom. I don't want to use it too much. Keep it pretty good condition. Definitely some meaningful jimping. This flipper tab is kind of uncomfortable. Kind of like stabs your finger like that when you put your finger on it. Sorry, I'll get this out of the way. Kind of stabs your finger right when you're trying to flip it. And this jimping is really in a weird place because you don't push. You're not pushing here per se. This doesn't really work. You feel like the only way to do this is to do a light switch from the top. And that's not where the jimping is, which is a little bit weird. I'm not sure why he designed it that way. But anyway, you got some standoffs. Nice pocket clip. It's got the filler tab for the pocket clip, so you can swap them or whatever. But yeah, just a really classic Thai ZT frame lock. Titanium, full titanium, absolutely beautiful. I love the stone washing they do. It's beautiful on the blade and on the titanium as well. Really nicely done. It's got this aggressive jimping down here. It's kind of nice. A little bit aggressive, but not too bad. It's comfy. It's definitely comfy. So that's the 0392. Definitely not my favorite of the overbuilt old ZT knives. I definitely prefer the 0920 a little bit more, and also like the 0200 is pretty cool, but I like the other ones, like the 0850 is awesome. I love the 0850. The 0452 titanium version, which I do actually have here as well compared to that. I like that one a little bit more too. You see, not nearly as long as that knife. But just some of the other classic ZT knives that are discontinued at this point. Some of the older ones I like a little bit more than this. And it might be because this is more of like a chunky little brick, and when I want it to be chunky, I want it to be like big, like a full-size, big, thick, huge, fill my hand out. And this one doesn't quite fill it out like these other ones do, but I still do enjoy it. I did enjoy checking this out. I didn't use it a lot, but I didn't use it at all actually. But I did hold it, you know, check it out, and flipped it a bunch. I mean, it's a cool knife, definitely a cool knife. I had it a while too. But not really my favorite as far as older ZTs go. And I've kind of found that out with a couple of the other Hinderer designs I've tried. They're just not super interesting in my opinion. I'm more of a, I don't know, I like the other designers' knives, all of the other ZTs. You can go check out my ZT video about all my other ZT knives that I have. I've even got this one, the GTC ZT by GTC Designs, with the flipper tab, spring tab. Anyway, yeah, so it's not like my favorite older ZT, but I do definitely enjoy it. So just another one to check out. Definitely thought I'd show it off on my channel. These are a little bit hard to find. They're getting up there in price. If you do find them, they're expensive, especially on the secondary market, which is the only place you'll find them now. So if you do try and hunt one of these down, you'll end up paying more than $500 for it, most likely. Definitely more, even up. I've seen them as much as $1,000 or more. So these are definitely getting pricey. So that's the factory custom model Zero Tolerance 0392, and so pretty cool stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of this model. Let me know what you guys what your favorite Zero Tolerance knife is. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and have a great day. Bye.